men. It's ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. And if there's anyone though who can prove that you can do anything during these times, it is definitely you.
Well, I so appreciate you saying that. And I'm the biggest Pop Sugar fan, and I'm so glad to be here. And thank you so much for taking the time to have me on your platform, or, you know, do this IG Live. And yeah, I'm really excited.
I love it. Well, for those who are just joining us right now over on Tomorrow by Today, Drew, you are the host of your namesake talk show. You are the brains behind Flower Beauty. Among you, I don't know how you do it, so why don't you share with us what keeps you motivated, especially during these times?
By the way, I'm sorry. I said this was Pop Sugar, and I'm realizing that was next on the schedule, and it must have flipped. This is Tomorrow and Today.
It is. It is. Thank you so much.
My gosh, how embarrassing. You know what, though? How typical. Like, you try to be cool and you blow it. So
you never blow it. You're perfect. What do you do to stay motivated, Drew?
How do I stay motivated?
Yes.
I think I honestly would be in a straitjacket if I didn't have a place to put all the energy and ideas that I have. I'm so lucky because I just need an outlet, because it doesn't ever stop in here, and it doesn't ever stop in here. And I'm one of those people that fantasizes about going and living another life and like shutting it all down. And it lasts hours, not days, before I'm like, wait, you know what? Can we just do this like one thing? And then let's just take care of this and that. And as hairball as it feels to be like living a life with tons of spinning plates, I don't thrive if it's, I don't know.
If you're not super busy. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's, you know, I don't sort of like live for, you know, being out there and all of this stuff. I just like trying to have a productive and healthy outlet for all the things that I love and want to do. And I don't do any of it alone. And I love working with different people. I love collaborating. I love learning. And I love expressing myself. And there's so many areas of life that I'm interested in. I can't even walk into a room without wanting to move furniture and redecorate it. And I think about health and wellness, and, you know, hence working with Kellogg's. And I think about things that bring us all together. What are we doing? We have focused so much on our differences, and rightfully so. What are the things that maybe all of us are doing?
Yeah.
So I think about, you know, if you had an hour of television a day, if you were lucky enough, what would you do with it? I love interior design. I love food. I love people. And I love makeup. So
you're multi-passionate.
I am multi-passionate. So I just want to be able to like put it all into these buckets so that I feel more sane. And I love graphic design and magazines and visuals. And so I love making playlists. I'm a busy bee.
I love that you have so many passions, because especially for the next generation who is watching this, I think that's for a lot of people, their goals. How can we take all of our interests and make it into one career path? So I love that that's something that you exemplify to that group. Something that is a major accomplishment of yours is that you launched your namesake talk show this past year in 2020. You have had 80 plus episodes since launch. What have been some of the highlights that have stuck out for you during this time?
I love, like, when you're making a movie or a TV show, you're always learning, especially as a producer. You're at every table. If you love design, there's production design. If you love people, there's casting. If you love writing, you know, it sort of has endless possibilities and opportunities. But I feel like you're also learning about this, like, one thing you've decided to all join forces on. It's very expansive, but I never could have believed that something would be as expansive as this job. You're learning every day, all day long. And I love hearing from people I've never met that are doing something out in this world that moves all of us and reminds us that there is good and function. And I love you know, speaking to someone who maybe we all know and have loved our whole lives and being in a front row seat to that. And I want to just talk to writers and chefs and designers and, you know, I love news. We have Drew's News. So
Love Drew's News.
oh, thank you. I love like good stories that are happening in the world. And thanks to social media, we now have better access to that kind of information. But it used to be so hard to find. And we need to know these things are happening in order to make this whole bananas journey of life worth it. We've got to see the function and the antidote and the good. So I love talking about that.
You definitely keep us all in check. And what's so interesting is that as an actress, you have been a guest on shows like yours for years. So what is it like being on the other side?
It definitely gave me a good insight into if somebody asks you a fresh question or something about your life that doesn't have to do with the thing you're promoting, or it's so fun. You're like, just get me out of the monotony. I feel like I always try to ask questions that are going to get me to know that person better.
Yeah.
And I know being on the other side of it that some days I wished I would be asked, you know, what I ate for breakfast or what my favorite color was, more than like, why did you decide to do this character? And I think, you know, I love learning about people's family or history or bringing a human interest into it. I think for the opportunity of social media and the next generation that want to mix so many things into one thing is because we are not all one thing.
We're not.
So when someone comes on, I want to explore different aspects of their life. Even if it's just to hit 1 or 2 or 3 in a quick amount of time, like that's my goal, is to just not stay one note, because nobody is one note.
And that's something that you do, I really believe, each and every time you bring on a guest, all of which have been super iconic moments, starting your very first, you know, sort of episode and moment, bringing back the girls of Charlie's Angels. Yeah. If you could pick anybody, Drew, to bring on as a guest of your show, who would it be? Who's on the bucket list?
I would give anything to talk to Beyonce. She's someone that they created independent women for Charlie's Angels back in the day, and that was when I got to know her a little bit. And I just think that everything she's evolved and grown and made these incredible statements in the world through her art. I'm just so enamored with her, as everybody is. I'm in a very long, endless line. So she's like a first person that comes to mind. And I don't see her do a ton of interviews, which makes...
She doesn't. That would be an iconic full circle moment. So I think you need to make this happen. I have faith that if anyone can make this happen, it's you. So I'm crossing my fingers that this interview happens.
Me too. And I am dying to interview someone I haven't met yet. Someone I don't know, and that I'm going to learn about, and they're going to change, you know, my perspective. And I'm going to have, I think with the show and in social media and in life, we're all looking for takeaways too. What we learn. And I think that's another thing that's great about interview style and journalism is like, how do we get the person who's kind enough to take the time to listen to get something out of it? So that's a goal for me always.
I think that is awesome that you keep that in mind, and is super inspiring to watch you do that when you're conducting your interviews on your show. But Drew, we know that you're here with us today through your partnership with Kellogg's. You have some lovely cereal boxes there as your backdrop today. But what would you say, Drew, in celebration of your partnership with Kellogg's, what would you say are some of your favorite breakfast traditions from when you were growing up?
Well, you know, I didn't have a ton of them growing up.
Okay. Love the honesty.
Oh, yeah. My life was definitely not sitting at the breakfast table with 2 parents getting ready for school. It just was the complete opposite. In fact, I made a Kellogg's Rice Krispies commercial when I was 5 years old.
Isn't that amazing?
So if anything, it's like the circle of life.
It's that.
I would say that now I'm a parent and I'm watching my kids eat Rice Krispies. And when I got my first apartment when I was 14, again, not an Orthodox life,
Very cool though.
I ate FMWs. And that sounded cool to me. Like, I'm going to rock some FMWs, frosted mini wheats right now. And my new hashtag for Kellogg's is everybody's cereals. The thing I want to do with this show, the thing I've always wanted to do since I was in ET and watched people congregate in a movie theater and love being together and experiencing something.
Yeah.
It's a time where focusing on our differences has never been more important and informative and necessary. I'm always looking for the things that we have in common, that we're doing together in action or in attitude. Everybody's cereals. Whatever age you are, wherever you live on this globe, it's an accessible, not unattainable price point. It is something that families do. Grab a bowl and like sit with your family and your loved ones. Zoom with a friend. Like, it is good food for you. It's nutritious. Fiber is cool. When my kids are eating it, I don't feel guilty the way I do when they're eating some other stuff.
A good thing. I think a lot of parents are trying to do that too at home, right? Like make sure that their kids are eating, good options since we all are at home so much more. So I think that's great that you do that. I loved looking at this video you posted the other day on your feed, and you were doing the Marie Kondo, organizing your closets sort of a thing, which is something I try to do all the time. So I related to what you were posting. But for the moms out there who are trying to find other things to do to have their kids stay entertained, what would those be? By the way, Justin Bieber is on the room right now. Hello, Justin. We have to say hi. He's saying hi to you, Drew.
Hi, Justin. How are you? This is like a weird place where Justin and I tend to meet every once in a while, is on an IG Live. One day, I was sitting in the beginning of the pandemic, and I just got my kids to sleep, and I went upstairs to go write a letter from the Tooth Fairy. Or let me just say I was contacting the Tooth Fairy.
Okay.
To make sure she got something for Frankie, who just lost a tooth. And I was sitting in the dark, and I saw Justin Bieber's going on an IG Live. So I was like, oh, I'm going to go visit that room. What a place in the scary pandemic to go to. Thank you, Justin Bieber.
I love that. Just pop in.
I see on the screen Justin Bieber's inviting you, and I'm like, no.
You not say no to Justin when you get an invitation. I feel like the combination of you guys must just be like the most amazing thing to watch.
Well, his company is called Drew.
Yes. Yes.
Actually provided him with all these like images, and they made t-shirts with my face on it. But what's really fun is that we just have that Drew word connection, and I love what he has done with that brand so much. It is not easy to brand. It is not easy to start a company. And I think he has nailed it. It's iconic. It's very identifiable very quickly. It's bold. It's optimistic. It's cool and hip. And I applaud him because once again, he did something really, really awesome. And I just love him. And I love him and Hailey Bieber and how much they love each other.
Oh, they inspire us.
Romance.
I love that. But getting back to the question before Justin came into the room, what would you say is like the number one activity that is keeping you and your kids together these days and entertained?
It's a little different every day. You're trying to reinvent the wheel. Like one day my kids took out my entire pantry and set up a grocery store. Doing painting, we're watching movies. They have sometimes too much iPad time. We go on walks. We try to ride a bike. I started gardening, and I started planting seeds with them. I got disposable cameras, and I was like, you're a photographer, take photos.
Love that.
So as a parent, are really trying to come up with ideas that, the well has to be filled back up every single day. And it's easy. We have play dates and schools and other buckets being filled for them. And every parent has it all on their shoulders right now. And we've never appreciated our kids' friends and teachers more than we will from this time. This is a year no one's going to say, oh, I don't remember where I was that year. This will not blend into the rest of them.
We will remember this.
We will be smarter, wiser, more worldly, more aware, more brought together, and more respectful from this time. And everything happens for a reason. I think this has been tragic and difficult. And for anyone who is able to get out of this time with their health and their life, may we all be better to each other for it.
I think that is very very wise words. Last but not least, before you go, Drew, if you could give any piece of advice to your 20-some-year-old self who was just, starting out, what would you say?
You will get better. You will get wiser. You will get calmer at a certain point, because I was bananas in my 20s. Everything stressed me out. I had no idea that everything wasn't the end of the world or so big and important. I had no idea how to compartmentalize, put things in perspective. I didn't know how to handle stress. I didn't have balance in my life. And sometimes you just wonder if you ever will. And it turns out growing up's not so bad. It's really awesome. At 46, I'm definitely the happiest I've ever been, and I'm so glad.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm having hella fun in my 20s. Don't get me wrong.
Fun in your 20s, you get wiser as you get older, and I feel like you've proved that the more of life that you see and learn, the more it inspires you to just do you and do what you want. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why so many people look up to you, and you really are such an inspiration. So thank you.
I appreciate that. And I will say, from the day I was born in my 20s and now, I think my number one thing that's been my priority in life is to be good to people, to take care of them, to have good energy, so that if I'm around people, I don't take away from their energy. And we are here on this planet, I believe, and in this life, to take care of each other. And I've never not believed that. And I know I'll never lose sight of that. It is my intention.
I love that, Drew. Thank you so much for shedding some of your positivity on all of us today at Tomorrow by Today. Congrats on everything, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Tomorrow and Today. Thank you for letting me screw up at the beginning of this. Thank you for letting me get to be on your platform and in your world. I've been excited to have this opportunity, and I thank you guys for taking the time and having me to the party.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. We so appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I do too.
All right. Bye now.
And everybody, I hope that you grab good energy wherever you can find it and hold on to it throughout the day, because it's going to be tested, and it might even also grow and become more abundant. But to recognize it is a very good thing as well.
I could not agree more. All the wise words, Drew. We just need them on a wall all day, every day. Write them for us.
Well, maybe we'll do this again.
Yes, we would love that anytime. Thank you so much. Take care. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching Tomorrow by Today. This conversation will be saved on our feeds in case you missed some of it. This was so fun with Drew. We were so excited to have her on. We will be back next week with a whole new guest. And how cool is that, by the way? Justin Bieber literally came onto the room and said hi. You never know what's going to happen over here. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Sydney Sadik. Take care, everybody.